So tell me one runner of international standards who has passed away.
God gives you 3 wishes. One, you take 1 wish for yourself, 1 for your family, 1 for your village you come from. What will you ask God?
Explain in brief the issue going on in Manipur right now.
Please come in. Please be seated. Siddhartha Singh.
Yes.
So you have done your 10th and 12th from Ara, Bhojpur in Bihar.
Yes, sir.
And that thereafter you came over to the University of Delhi.
Yes.
From where did you graduation in?
History honors.
Right. And you have mentioned that you have a large number of prizes and medals, especially parliamentary debate.
Yes, sir.
Organized in the different colleges of the University of Delhi. And you've also mentioned about running and discussions with people.
Yes.
Now, what do you discuss with people?
Sir, anything like the discussion that we are going to have right now. Like these thought of discussions, like these things can help me learn about the diverse perspectives from people and make me a better person, sir.
What do you normally discuss with your friends, with people at large, people whom you know and people whom you do not know?
Sir,
I categorize that. So let us be very, very specific about the discussions that you normally have.
Yes, sir. Sir, I believe that every person at least knows something. There is nobody that knows nothing. So in that case, whenever I interact with anyone, I interact with the mentality of someone that is going to learn. And by learning, I feel that it also can help me in my administrative roles also if I am given the opportunity. Also, sir, I feel that we have only one life. So when we interact with people, when we learn with regarding what the discussion, the struggles that they have had, or the priorities that they set in their life, that can help us be better human beings. So that is the primary thing. And specifically, if I have to mention a discussion, for example, before coming to this interview, I was talking to my sister. So she was preparing me for the interview.
Wonderful.
So, yes.
Now tell me, you have mentioned that you also read books.
Yes.
Have you read any book by Raghuram Rajan?
No, sir. I intend to, but I have not.
Because he emphasized upon the role of two media. He emphasized the role of the public at large.
Yes, sir.
Especially when the political wing and the corporate wing, they have started or they start scratching each other's back.
Yes.
And build up their own comfort levels.
Yes, sir. Sir, in that regard, Mr. Raghuram Rajan is of the opinion that stakeholder consultations are very crucial, be it in terms of either economic policy or even in terms of social issues, sir. Because see, sir, the protests, for example, the farmers that we are having, these are primarily because of the lack of discussion, sir. So again, sir, I feel discussions play a very crucial role, especially in strengthening and establishing democracy, sir.
Has he also talked about crowdsourcing of ideas?
Sir, while I have not specifically read about his opinions on that, but I do feel that crowdsourcing of ideas is very important, especially because everybody has a diverse life, sir. And the problems that they are facing, we need to acknowledge the human experiences of various peoples. So the ideas that are coming from the public, that can help in various more beneficial policy making at the larger levels. Sir.
You mentioned running as one of your extracurricular activities.
Yes, sir.
What do you actually do? You are on the theoretical paradigm, or you actually run?
No, sir. I definitely run, as can be seen from my lean body shape. I run, sir.
Great. So tell me one runner of international standards who has passed away.
So that I'm not aware of. I'm sorry, but recently, Sir Milkha Singh, I think, passed away. But that was
in the international context I'm talking about.
No, sir. I'm not aware of that. Sorry.
And why are the Nigerians and the Ethiopians better runners than what we have in India? Or why are the ace runners, in fact?
Yes, sir. So the issue is that there is some genetic and biological angle also. For example, the muscle shape there or the length of the bones, they are beneficial in terms of athletic activities, sir. Also, sir, because some of the black athletes are also performing very well, and for that a reason is traced to the slave trade, sir. Because while transporting the slaves, many of the black people died actually who were not really having the caliber for long distance journeys or in such a capacity. So only the genes that were able to survive, they survived, sir. So that is the reason why, for example, we see Usain Bolt and these sort of athletes are doing very well, sir.
Now, you are into debating.
Yes, sir.
Let us say you are a member of parliament,
Yes, sir.
and you are from you are what you call a confidant of the chief minister of Bihar. Now, Bihar lacks a lot of things. It needs to have enormous funding from the government of India.
Yes, sir.
How would you debate so that you are able to convince the government of India to give you more than what is required?
So first of all, as a citizen of India, I feel that I should not be debating to get anything more than required. So what I will do is primarily that Bihar's needs should be acknowledged and we should be getting what we deserve. So in that regard, I feel that the Finance Commission has been allocating some significant proportion to Bihar. And so what we actually need right now, in my opinion, is that a greater mobilization of resources from Bihar itself. And so since I am a confidant, as you said, of Nitish Kumar, I will try to make him
the chief minister.
Of the chief minister.
Yeah.
So I'll try to make him realize that the prohibition policies that can be dismantled, that can also leverage our economic potential and resources.
But Gujarat also has the same prohibition policy.
Yes, sir. But then again, as we can see, Gujarat is also not demanding for anything extra from the union government. Sir. What Gujarat is doing is that they are leveraging their potential. And in that regard, I think a very good initiative is the Bihar Business Summit, sir, because 50,000 crores of investments have been signed. So that is a very good initiative. And we need something on that regard also, sir. The law and order situation must be also dealt with. Simultaneously, sir, I feel that a greater collaboration between the union and state governments, where we are understanding the specific needs of Bihar. For example, the union government has a large-scale policy of this piped water supply in every household, sir. I feel, sir, that Bihar also requires that, and Bihar also is having a Jal Jeevan mission on its own, Jal Jangal Haryali mission. So that can be significantly collaborated on both the levels, and that can lead to better policy making rather than, sir, confrontation, sir. So debate again and discussion should be the core of it.
What are the states which have been complaining that the government of India has not been giving them the right amount of grant that they normally should be getting? And what are the factors that the government of India, what are the factors on account of which the government of India is not giving them? Or what is the point of friction between the thought process of the state government and the thought process of the government of India?
So recently we are seeing some confrontations, be it Kerala's petition in the Supreme Court, Tamil Nadu is also, or Karnataka also. They are basically arguing that there is north-south divide, sir, where the southern states are not getting the due that they are providing to the union government in terms of resources. So recently the issues that we are having is in terms of the fiscal profligacy, for example, sir, where Kerala, for example, is arguing that greater level of funding should be provided so that the social expenditure can be looked into of Kerala, sir. And union government is saying basically that any sort of expenditure that the governments at the state level are incurring, they should be fiscally appropriate, sir. So this is the primary issue. I feel, sir, that in this regard, Finance Commission that has recently been constituted as the 16th Finance Commission, that should take the state's positions greatly into account, sir. I think that can be a ameliorative step.
Right, thank you.
Yes.
Sir.
Okay, Siddharth, you changed your school.
Yes.
After 10th.
Yes, sir.
Any good reason?
So the only reason was that my school that I was studying at, it was KVR. We did not have the arts curriculum, sir. So I changed to Bihar board and in my college.
Subject.
Yes, sir. That was the primary.
Okay. Reading books, your hobby.
Yes, sir.
How many books have you read so far?
Sir, while I have not keep a track of all the books, I think they can be in the range of about 60 or 70.
60, 70.
Yes, sir.
Which is closest to your heart?
So Pride and Prejudice is the closest.
Pride and Prejudice.
Yes, sir, by Jane Austen.
Give us the story in 5 lines.
Sir, it is a story of basically how different social standings of people influence their life choices and can lead to differences in their perceptions of people, sir, and how we need to be more accommodative of various lifestyles, for example.
So how many sisters are there in that family?
Yes, sir. May I count for a moment, sir? So there are 4, if I remember correctly.
4.
Jane, Elizabeth, Lizzie, and there's one more, I think, sir, whose name I forgot.
Okay. Have you read some self-help books also?
No, sir. Not till.
Do not read that kind of a book.
I have not come across any book, or I did not feel like specifically reading those sort of things.
So
because
basically,
I have many people around me. I have been blessed with very good people in my life, and they have been there for me to help me whenever I have needed the help, sir. So I did not have to delve into books for that, sir.
is there any other? I can see that you want to develop yourself.
Yes.
So what else is the technique you have adopted in your life to develop yourself?
One is obviously, sir, the discussion. Also, sir, the reading habit, because a reader lives 1,000 lives, sir. So along with that, I feel so that I have been very consistent, and regarding any sort of goals that I put for myself, I've been consistent in that. There has been a degree of punctuality, also the determination. These
No,
sort
no,
of
no.
things.
What techniques are you adopting to develop yourself, to be able to manifest whatever you're saying, punctuality, etc.?
Yes, sir.
There is manifestation.
Yes, sir. So the manifestation part of it is precisely like, for example, sir, the discussions that I pointed out, these are leading to my endeavor where I'm teaching a kid right now, sir. So also, sir, because I do want to contribute my, for example, sir, I've been a very privileged person. So I'm trying to channelize that privilege for the betterment of people who are not as fortunate as I am. So in that regard, I try to communicate with people. Also, sir, I've been willing to understand people's grievances. For example, my friends call me informal therapist, sir. So therapist.
Okay.
So that can be a manifestation, sir.
Okay. Okay. So you're working in the Department of Education and
Yes.
you're holding a very senior position. How will you improve the educational levels in the villages?
So first of all, we need to work at the quality of education in the villages, because what we are seeing is that students do not feel the need to go to school because they are not learning anything, not getting anything of worth there. So that is the first thing. The other would be that we need to inculcate value-based education. So we need to make the children realize like why they are studying. Currently, what is actually happening is that students are studying merely for the sake of passing exams. Because of that, there is a wide dichotomy, sir, in terms of the skill levels also. So the NEP is a very positive step, and I feel that a rigorous implementation of the NEP can sort out many of the problems, sir.
Okay. India and Israel.
Yes, sir.
We are favoring Israel or we are not favoring Israel?
Sir, India has been very strictly conscious of the humanitarian concerns, and we have been abiding by the two-state solutions, as our External Affairs Minister also pointed out. So we are not strictly in favor or against any party, sir.
Okay. Where did he say this? Where did he make this statement?
So recently I think he was in a discussion with Anthony Blinken, and there I think this discussion came up. So, but
Okay.
I am not very sure, but I did read about him this sort of statements. So.
Okay. So he said that Israel should be mindful that.
Yes, sir, mindful of the consider. So what he actually said was that India understands that the two-state solution is the only credible solution, and in that regard, while we understand the right of Israel to retaliate against terrorist tactics, we must also underscore the fact that the human lives matter, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you think of South China Sea? Where is it? What countries are around it? What is significance of South China Sea? How does it concern India?
So South China Sea is a region in the east of Asia where it aligns with China. For example, it is in the border area. Also, sir, Vietnam, Indonesia. These countries are in that region, and some of them have disputes with China also, sir. So basically, the prime idea is that China considers the South China Sea as its own backyard, sir. It wants whole of the resources for itself. Also, sir, there is some sort of land grabbing. Also, there is a violation of UN clause legislations also, sir. So because of that, there is a conflict there. Also, sir, the area has a wide economic potential because it links for example, the Malacca Strait and also the Japanese whole arena. It goes through that area, sir. So any nation that has an effective control over that sea. Also, sir, the Taiwan dispute is also crucial. So where India comes into the picture is that we are trying to have a multipolarity. So the Quad has been set up with a prime focus area of South China Sea also, sir, because we are trying to tackle the aggression that China is showing to its neighbors, sir, especially in the sea domain.
Okay. Is China also building some military infrastructure?
Yes, sir.
In that area?
Yes, sir. There are synthetic islands that have been brought by China. These are increasing the jurisdiction of China in terms of legal aspects. So
Okay.
again, sir, the mineral aspects are also there. So we need to be very mindful of these initiatives, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
So, Mr. Siddharth, are you aware about the chicken neck which exists in our country?
Yes, sir.
So please tell me, where is it, and what are some of the security challenges associated with that?
So the chicken neck or the Siliguri corridor is at the tri-junction of India, Bhutan and China, and it has a very significant strategic importance because it links the northeastern part of India with the rest of India. So in that regard, because it is a very narrow 22-kilometer stretch of land, it is very possible that if China has control over the Doklam area in Bhutan, it can lead to a certain situation where our landlocked connection can be cut off from the northeast in case of any rivalries with China. So in that regard, it becomes very crucial. That is why we are very concerned regarding the talks that Bhutan is having with China. Also, sir, because of the geopolitical repercussions, we are also building the alternate routes, like for example via Bangladesh or also the India, Myanmar, Thailand corridors. These sort of things are crucial primarily because of our vulnerabilities in the chicken necks corridors.
Okay. Explain in brief the issue going on in Manipur right now.
So Manipur is a region with various ethnicities, sir. The primary among them are Meiteis, who constitute about 50% of the population, who live in the valley area, and the valley area is about 10% of the areas of whole of Manipur. And also, sir, we have major tribes, and among these are the Kuki and Naga tribes. Both these tribes live in areas that encompass about 90% of the area of Manipur. They are mainly in the hill area, but they are tribals and they are lacking in the resources, sir. So the primary issue that happened was that the Meiteis are demanding a ST status for themselves. If they are granted that status, it will lead to them being able to buy land in the hill areas also, sir, which are ST areas, sir. So in that regard, because the Manipur High Court ordered the Manipur government to put forward a proposal for that, the Kuki areas which have seen a greater degree of intermingling by the Meiteis also, there were concerns by the Kukis that the land can be taken away by the more affluent Meiteis, sir. So because of that, the violence has erupted. Also, sir, there is a cross-national angle also, the drug trade angle is also there, ethnic rivalries, historical consequences, all of things are intermingling there, sir.
Okay, so recently, almost a week back, there was an incident in Churachandpur where the DM's house was gutted and they were asked, the DM and the SP were asked to leave the city within 24 hours or they'll have to face dire consequences. So if you were in a position of that DM, what would have been your approach to tackle the situation?
So first of all, sir, the primary reason why the violence escalated against the SP's office, sir, was because the SP decided to suspend a police personnel who was found in a photograph with the armed miscreants from Kuki community. I think, sir, the suspension was completely legitimate. It was a good initiative because, sir, it was very important for the rule of law.
I'm asking your approach.
Sir, the approach would obviously be standing by the due course of law, sir. We need to stand by and we do not need to let the masses or the mobs get into the rule of law apparatus, sir. So the suspension must be continued. Along with that, sir, the paramilitary forces which are stationed there, the Assam Rifles, they should be called in to regulate the masses to a greater extent, and the police forces should also be more vigilant. Also, sir, as a primary measure, the internet suspension can be looked into, sir. At the same time, all these sort of blockades that are taking place and the intimidation tactics that are being incorporated by the tribals, they need to be strongly registered, sir, by the state apparatus.
Okay, but what about the call given to the DM or the SP to leave the station immediately?
So they should not, and they will not. I believe they will never leave because it is their house of duty, sir, and they must abide by the service that they have chosen, sir.
Okay, so what are some qualities of a civil servant that are required in them to discharge their duties efficiently, and how do you imbibe those qualities in yourself?
So the primary in that specific case is resilience, sir, and determination. Because, sir, if they are not resilient, they will lead to a buckling down under pressure, and which we cannot afford, sir. Also, the determination to the service is very important because they are representatives of the government of India there, sir. And any abdication of authority by them, specifically the DM and SP, will lead to a jeopardization of the state apparatus of the government of India, sir. So these things are very crucial. On my part, sir, I feel that because of the various, for example, the interaction that I had with people, also, sir, because I was the president of my debating society and I did have to deal with these sort of problems where other societies or the administration was also sort of putting some roadblocks. So I feel that I do have that resilience to fight for what is right, sir. Also the determination, sir. I feel that, sir, the fact that I'm here in my first attempt, it does show that I do have determination, sir, towards the goals.
Thank you. Sir.
one more point.
Please, sir. Sorry.
Do not connect things in which you expose yourself to be asked questions based on your answer. For example, a question was asked you and then you say, like farmers issue. The moment you say like farmer issue, you're opening another door for him to enter. He'll ask some questions on that. So, to the point and confined to that area, do not give unnecessary examples unless required.
Okay, sir.
The moment you talk of a new thing, his attention will be drawn to that, and now he'll start asking about farmers' agitation, or for that matter, anything else that you're connecting with that answer.
Okay, yes, sir. I'll.
So you might become a little vulnerable unnecessarily. Maybe that you're not very well prepared, but you're given only as an example. Now that example will be taken as a question, next question from the panelists to you.
Yes, sir.
Uska avoid kar.
But in that regard, I do take care of mentioning only things that I know. So I actually wanted a question on a farmers' protest, sir. Because if I mention it,
No, if it is a deliberate approach,
yes,
clear approach, prepared
was-
approach, fine.
Yes.
But unsuspectingly, if you say that, then
yes, sir,
it
I'll
might be-
definitely take care
Yeah,
of that.
that is all. Okay, well done.
Yes.
Okay, so you have impressed all of us. Okay, and as sir mentioned, you are way ahead of your age, and you have actually proved that why you are here in the first attempt. But at the same time, please be cautious of the fact that you should not tell it by your own mouth.
Yes, sir.
At 3 or 4 times, I mentioned that from confident you were shifting to overconfident. Like right in the first question when sir mentioned what kind of discussions you have, you mentioned like this discussion like this. UPSC interview is a very formal interview with such senior bureaucrats, and very few people get a chance to get into that panel.
Yes.
So don't equate it with any random discussion that you have with anybody.
Okay, sir.
That
Definitely.
may be taken adversely by
Negative,
any of the panel
It is
members.
possible. Yes, sir.
Then again, you talked about that I am here in the first attempt and all those things. So just be cautious of that fact. You are very confident, but these small things might be taken against you.
Yes.
So that is the only word of caution I have.
Okay, sir. Definitely.
We're all very happy with your interview, and at once you mentioned that I am very privileged. What do you mean by being very, very privileged?
Sir, what I mean is that I have a well-functional family, and that alone is a very big privilege, sir, because what I have seen from people around me, that is a very big disadvantage that some people have. Along with that, sir, I feel that I come from a background that is economically stable. While we are indeed in some sort of debt, but still, sir, it is very manageable. So again, that is also a privilege, sir. Sir, my father is very understanding of the needs that I have. Also, sir, my career progressions. For example, it has been about 5 years since I have been staying away from my family in Delhi. But sir, to be very honest, I do not know my monthly expenses, sir, even today, sir. So that is again a very big privilege that I have, sir. Because of the very fact that I'm not aware of what I'm spending every month. I do try to be very cautious of what I'm spending. But even if you do ask me what is the monthly expense that I have currently, I cannot pinpoint to, sir, exact amount, sir. While I do see my friends, they're very conscious regarding these things, even for a few amounts of rupees, sir. I feel, sir, I am very privileged, sir, in these regards. I have been fortunate with very good guidance, sir. Some of the people who are indeed in the service, they have been there with me, teaching me, for example, even when I was preparing for the prelims, sir. So that again is also a very big advantage. I definitely am a privilege, sir.
Because I was seeing your family back. Your father is a constable in the police.
He is, sir.
So I was just trying to correlate, rather to dehyphenate it. In fact, because you mentioned you are privileged, while your father is not so well placed. In fact, but anyhow, I mean, in fact, it adds to your strength rather, that even coming from such humble background, and you're able to do so well, and you are next to none.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, what should I say? I'm sorry. That's a wrong expression. That you have done so well. And then apart from that, I deliberately asked you because, especially about Bihar, people have got different notions, and people may ask you a lot of questions, especially about the development and the development aspects. And I deliberately asked you that you corrected it. In fact, we were very happy on that count.
Yes, sir.
And then, of course, the different models and Shashi Tharoor and all those things. But do read some of the books. When is the interview, by the way?
It is on 5th March.
Yep.
5th.
Apart from that, we do not have much to suggest. But I was just joking, in fact, when we saw your photograph over here, that chap is a nerd. In fact, you call what I said. So when you go for the interview, it's okay. It's good to be a nerd, in fact, but then of course, shave.
I'll get a haircut also.
And then a haircut is
Ah,
be
bald-
natural.
Yes.
and brush up, read the newspaper, which you've been doing, and then of course running, etc. You mentioned, so running opens up a lot of discussion. Discussion people, as I rightly said in your case, that you have to be more specific about what this type of discussions you have, so that you can steer your discussion with the board in a purposeful manner. That is very important.
Okay.
And then debates, etc. You can really sum it up well. So not an issue at all. And history, try to brush up a knowledge. I'm not saying that you renew knowledge. Just brush up a knowledge of Bihar and the issues, and more so about the history of Bihar, because Bihar has been a great place.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, it
Yes.
seems to be lost. And the dilemmas that are there.
Yes.
Successive governments have not been able to do much. And then apart from that, even if you see the spending, the government allots the fund, but they're not spent. And there are issues of what you call acquisition of land, and then a lot of issue of infrastructure, other things, which are not coming up. And until you've got good infrastructure in a state, you can't expect to develop in the manner.
Yes.
And then the issue of caste, etc. Also, it's I won't say it's a primitive society, but yes, it's a society which is still moored to its historical what you call standings. So these are some of the issues which you need to be very well structured about these issues.
Yes.
But otherwise, we are very confident that you should be doing very well.
Thank you.
So God bless. Any question that you'd like to be asking the board, asking us?
So I have been trying to reduce the speed of my speech, but like, was it legible, or I mean, was it problems?
We can understand.
We can understand easily, but in case you are able to slightly slow down the speed.
But I've been trying to do it but I don't know why I'm not.
Don't become unnatural.
No, you don't try to change.
No, don't try to change.
Otherwise, you lose out.
Yes, sir.
Not only that, the coordination will.
Coordination खत्म हो
Coordination
जाएगा.
खत्म हो जाएगा.
चलने दीजिए अभी इस इंटरव्यू में चलने दीजिए.
Okay. Is it legible, isn't it? I
No,
mean,
it's audible and we are able to understand. And you have a good command over the language also. It's not an issue. And the type of words that you're using is very balanced, and it's very appropriate, in fact.
Yes, sir. So,
And you have got a good vocabulary also.
thank you, sir.
पढ़ता सर वो क्या नाम है?
Reading books.
हाँ?
Reading books.
Reading books.
No, जो जिसका नाम लिया क्या नाम है? Pride and Prejudice.
Yes.
Pride and
Pride and
Prejudice. जेन ऑस्टिन की किताब पढ़ ले जो जेन ऑस्टिन है ना?
Yes, yes.
नहीं अच्छा है कायदे से.
That is a very good.
Very difficult author.
Yes, but very interesting.
Interesting.
Very
Yes.
interesting, yes.
Good.
Yes.
50-60 बच्चा जो पढ़ ले किताबें सर इस उम्र में टेक्स्ट बुक से टाइम नहीं मिलता है 12वीं तक.
अपनी दिक्कत वो नहीं, रीडिंग हैबिट खत्म
Habit
होती
की
जा
बात
रही
है,
है. See, in our times we used to read a lot of books,
Our attention span is decreasing.
But your
everybody wants what you call news in minutes and news in
Instant
short, and all those
gratification.
things, 60 words and 100 words, and that's all.
Yes.
Achha, you've been reading newspaper regularly,
Yes, for the last 2 years.
listening to news also.
Not listening to
थोड़ा
news.
अभी जरा देख लीजिए, क्योंकि जिस दिन मान, let us say you're the first chapter to call an interview, perhaps you may not even have the time to go in for the newspaper in the morning hours.
So
news
what
जरूर
can
पढ़
be a
लीजिए,
good
शाम
source
का
for
news
that?
देख लीजिए.
What can be a good source?
न्यूज तो आपका टीवी में आप you will see the
दूरदर्शन.
राज्यसभा दूरदर्शन का देख लीजिएगा.
Okay. Yes.
देख लिए, because that will complete it.
म्यूजिकल न्यूज़ मत देखिए आज तक ढंग 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 all that. म्यूजिकल
सुबह 5 बजे ना द हिंदू का ब्रीफ आ जाता है.
हाँ वो भी आ जाता है.
ऐप डाउनलोड कर लो आप.
हाँ, वो भी
सुबह
आ जाता है.
5:30 को टुडेज इम्पोर्टेंट न्यूज आ जाता है, तो दैट यू कैन रीड ऑन योर वे.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you, sir. Because I do have my interview in the forenoon.
हाँ,
So
न्यूज़पेपर
that is
शायद
the-
थोड़ा टाइम लगता
Don't rely on newspapers. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
है. हाँ, न्यूज़पेपर में will take time so that you can read on the phone.
Okay, sir. Definitely.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for your sentiments, and sentiments especially about me
Thank
and
you, sir.
emotions about me.